You are a small creator. Your videos get 20 views, 200 views, or on some days even 0. If you find yourself ending up in that situation, then this video is for you. Right now, whether it feels like it or whether it doesn't, small creators matter much more than you think. Somewhere along the way, between the years of the late 2010s to 2020s, the internet stopped feeling human. As of right now, we definitely live in the loudest era the internet has ever known. Every second of every day, there are thousands upon thousands of YouTube videos that get uploaded. Every platform is flooded with polished thumbnails, beautiful titles, and crazy viral trends. Basically, creators who have already made it. And because all you ever get in your feed is these crazy viral content creators, you might ask yourself, would anyone really notice me if I were to upload a video? Why would anyone want to notice me? How could I be more popular than those people? But here's really the truth that most people miss. When everything becomes loud and when everything becomes so viral, you kind of miss out on the authenticity of regular human voices. Let's be honest here for a second. The big creators like Mr. Beast, we cannot deny it's impressive what they do. They have entire teams of people where they literally pay salaries to create, to edit, to sponsor, and release some sort of production value. They feel more like companies or brands more than anything else. They don't really feel that close and human. Small creators, on the other hand, they definitely feel more human. They would reply to comments. They'll definitely remember your name if you comment. They talk to the camera like they're talking to one person, not a million. At least for me, if I get a comment on my YouTube video, I'm going to respond to it or leave a heart. Because for people to comment on my video, that means something to me. We've definitely entered an era where people do not trust institutions whatsoever. They don't trust influencers the way they used to. Everything feels so curated, everything feels sponsored. Every time you watch a YouTube video, it's like they're always trying to sell you something. When you watch small content creators, you're watching somebody who has not succeeded, somebody who hasn't figured it out. You're listening to someone who talks honestly about what they're learning, someone who's still in the middle of a journey. When you think about it, when small content creators talk about stuff like that, it builds trust with their viewers. And in a time right now on the internet, trust is the most valuable asset ever. When someone sees a creator who's already made it, they're probably going to admire them. When you see a creator who's still working things out and still trying to become that viral creator, you could probably identify with that person more than, say, a viral content creator. You could argue that identifying with somebody is much stronger than admiring somebody. What is so human about small content creators is that you watch them make mistakes literally in their video. Maybe they forget to cut something out of their video. They're still on the learning curve. That does not show weakness at all. That just shows the reality of it all. And I think that is what is so human about small content creators. That's what drives people to maybe listen to them a little more, maybe relate to them a little more. I really don't think people need to see another finished product. I mean, how much of that have we seen already? What we need to see is progress. I think what humans like to see most is that build to success, the actual journey that the user takes to become successful. If you've ever seen the movie Limitless, it's about this man who takes this pill. The man had absolutely nothing going for him in life. However, this pill gave him unlimited access to his brain. All of a sudden, he became famous. He actually started making a lot of money. He had friends. And what was so fascinating about the movie to me was the actual journey of the main character and how he started from nothing and made his way to success. What people want to see is they want to see you improve as a small content creator. They want to watch your ideas evolve into something amazing. They want to watch your confidence grow as a person. And what small creators do best is that they invite these people into the process of how people grow. And they don't just show you the result like viral content creators would. I think one of the most important points to cover is that being a small content creator represents possibility. When somebody watches a Mr. Beast video, they think, that's impressive, but that's something I could never physically do. But when somebody watches a small content creator, they think to themselves, wait a minute, I could totally do this. This is totally something I could do. Your existence alone lowers the barrier for someone else to start. Your first video inspires somebody to upload their own first video. Your awkward intro gives somebody permission to be imperfect. Your honesty gives someone permission to try. That matters more than views ever will. When you think of trends, they all have to start from somewhere. Every major trend starts somewhere quiet. Before it gets polished, before it gets optimized, before it actually becomes profitable, it starts with somebody experimenting. There's some dude out there in a dark corner who is talking to himself in a camera with no guarantee that anyone's actually watching. Often what big creators do is they just amplify the trends that already existed. The small content creators are the ones that make them happen. And you know what? Even if you don't actually blow up, your ideas ripple outward in ways that you'll never fully see. I want to be perfectly clear when I say this. Views are not a measure of your worth. If there's just one person who watches your video and feels understood, that matters more than anything else in the world. If somebody comments on your video, that matters exponentially greater. If your content helps somebody feel less alone, yeah, that really matters. I guess really what the internet does, and YouTube to be more specifically, is that it trains us to chase scale. It trains us to become the ultimate content creator. The reality of it is meaning doesn't require scale at all. Sometimes it just requires sincerity. In the end, the algorithm, yes, it tracks clicks, it tracks watch time, retention, but it really does not track the impact. It really doesn't check somebody rewatching a video because it felt comforting. It just doesn't show up in the analytics that way, but they matter much more than any graph. Another important life skill that comes from being a small content creator is learning how slow growth is incredibly important to the learning process. Fast growth teaches you to chase numbers, whereas the slow growth teaches you how to endure the process. As a small content creator, you're going to learn one of the most important life skills in the world, which is patience. You're going to learn discipline. You're going to learn how to create even when motivation itself disappears. And when you finally do get success, those skills do not just vanish, they grow unbelievably. We definitely like to think of the internet as a place for information. But with people that have grown up with the internet, it's more than just information, it's emotion. People don't open apps because they want facts. Sometimes they just open it because they want relief. They want connection. They want distraction. They want understanding. Sometimes the small content creators are the ones that meet people in moments they'll never fully see. Some of their viewers might be watching late at night, during a period of loneliness, during a period of doubt, maybe even transition. Just because you're not somebody's favorite content creator, you might be a comfort to somebody. There is a specific kind of courage required to be a small content creator. The courage that is seen before success. To create, knowing that there's no guaranteed of reward whatsoever. That is bravery that most people never in their life will be ever to practice. And every time you show up anyway, every time you upload that video thinking that it's just a shot in the dark and no one's gonna watch it, you are literally strengthening that muscle. That'll change you as a person and help you in the long run, whether or not your channel grows or not. In the end, creating isn't about being noticed. It's really about honoring your own thoughts enough to express them. When you consistently create YouTube videos, without validation, you're basically telling yourself that your ideas are worth articulating to the public, your voice deserves space, and maybe your perspective even has value. That type of mindset leaks into every part of life. If you want to become a politician one day, if you want to be able to express yourself, that is how you gain trust of other people. Most importantly, you build trust in yourself. Most of life happens in the middle of it all, not at the beginning, not at the end. Small content creators live in that middle section and document it. Large content creators, they tell stories that are clean, without flaw. But small content creators, they show the truth. They show the plateaus of life, the self-doubt. They choose depth over speed, meaning over metrics, curiosity over certainty. And in a way, this is why small audiences are actually a gift. Small audiences are going to listen to you differently as a person. They're the ones that are going to care, they're the ones that are going to notice, and most importantly, they're the ones that are going to remember what you upload. They engage in the content, they don't just consume it. That environment of having these people, these small audiences watch your video allows you to experiment and evolve publicly. So in the end, smallness isn't really just limitation, it's a protected space. Maybe what the internet doesn't need more is videos. Maybe what it really needs is more honesty and more humility. It needs more people willing to say, this is where I'm at right now. Small content creators humanize the digital space. They remind people that, being behind every screen is a person. There's a person behind that screen. There is a person trying to make sense of things just like every other of the 8 billion different people in this world. Let's just say your channel never explodes. Let's say the views you have stay modest. It doesn't matter what happens, it still matters. Because in the end, you still practiced courage. You tried sharpening your voice. You tried to show up honestly in a world that rewards masks. So I guess in the end, if you're a small content creator, if you feel like your channel feels fragile, if you think that progress feels slow, if you feel like doubt creeps in more than confidence, just remember this. You're never going to be loud noise, you're just going to be a signal. You're not late to the process, you're necessary for it. And you're not insignificant whatsoever, you are literally a foundation. Sure, Mr. Beast and other big content creators may dominate the spotlight, but in the end, it's you guys, the small content creators, that are keeping the internet alive. You don't need permission at all, you don't need numbers, you don't need any certainty. You just need to keep showing up and being yourself. Because you know what? Right now, more than ever, the world doesn't need louder voices, it needs truer ones. So guys, hopefully you learned a little bit from this video, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely consider liking and subscribing, and leave a comment down below pertaining to your thoughts of this subject. But again guys, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Goodbye for now.